Hi, I'd like to talk about what I consider the greatest archive of primary source digital documents available to all teachers, and that's YouTube. Before we go on, I'd like to show you my favorite YouTube video of all. That little girl in the window was Anne Frank, and that's the only known video of Anne Frank. The Anne Frank house has said it was Anne Frank, and to me, if there was not one other video except for that one, YouTube would be worth it. I could spend hours talking about it, hours talking to my class about it. But most importantly, if I were teaching the diary, I know that students sometimes have a tendency to see Anne as a fictional character, and here's a way of showing that she was a real little girl in a historical time, in a historical framework, who suffered endlessly. There are so many other wonderful, wonderful YouTube resources for teachers to use. Here's a presentation that's available to you that talks about great YouTube channels for teachers. It has all kinds of resources. It's published on our website, and you'll be able to see it. And it has wonderful resources for primary school educators, English teachers, math teachers, history teachers. In fact, YouTube itself has two really wonderful resources, and that's one called Primary and Secondary YouTube School playlists, which are created by teachers, and it's set up by all grade levels, and then another one just called YouTube for Teachers. So I highly recommend that you check that out. Now, the other thing about YouTube, first of all, students use YouTube right now. It's actually the third major source that they visit. First is Facebook, second is Google, third is YouTube. And in fact, YouTube now has become a wonderful source for current events, news information, and things that are happening in their world. Yet I do know that many schools still do block YouTube for numbers of reasons which I'd like you to think about, although it is true that lots of the myths about YouTube are actually not accurate, and that in fact to get the E-rate you don't have to be blocked. You don't lose E-rate funding if you block it. Nonetheless, I do know that there are many issues concerning the use of YouTube. If you do have a school that has some issues concerning YouTube, there are strategies, there are resources for using YouTube that will make your life easier. The first one is that there are many sites that allow you to take YouTube videos and allow you to turn them into flipped classroom things, so that if you as a teacher have access to it but not your students, you can still use these sites, ed.ted, edpuzzle, there's another one called educanon, Google Forms to insert a video, and the YouTube editor itself, if you upload YouTube editors, allow you to add questions, subtitles, thinking questions to all kinds of YouTube videos and make it really wonderful for the YouTube projects that you might do, or for the flipped classroom. The other thing that you can think about doing is using kinds of programs like, for instance, SchoolTube or TeacherTube, which I know many of you know about, that lots of schools don't block. The downside, of course, is that the wealth of material available in YouTube is not available in those things. Nonetheless, they are a valuable resource. The other thing to think about is that there are many tools that allow you to filter YouTube and to get rid of the ads, the comments, which can be upsetting and can be inappropriate. So there are websites like Tube Offline, SafeShare.tv, ViewPure, and QuietTube, which allow YouTube videos to be shown without any of the background noise. The other thing is that there's YouTube for Schools, which has, if your school signs up for that, you only get school-approved YouTube videos. And finally, there's TubeChop, which allows you to edit videos. What I'd like to end with is how crucial I think is and how wonderful YouTube is. I have some questions for you to think about, and I'd like you to write about those questions, please.